We have had a lot of new trios this season, but one I thought I would never see is Clix, Yomzo, and Peterbot. Even stranger than this trio is the reason why they're now playing together. I want to talk about what Higgs did and what it means for the trio going forward. I also want to talk about our other trios. Mongrel unfortunately struggling this week, Mr. Savage dominating. I'll talk about who made finals and where they're dropping, because this finals looks like a banger. We also have Fortnite confirming it is back on the Apple App Store and why I think we are going to see the return of mobile tournaments. Also, there is a weird bug with Fortnite right now that you might not even know that you're getting that I've finally figured out what causes it. So there is a lot to talk about. Let's jump into it. Let's talk about how some of our new trios did it. We can't kick off talking about new trios without talking about Clix, Yomzo, and Peterbot. Now, I don't think I ever expected to see Clix and Peterbot play together. I mean, from all the drama we've had between them, the amount of times we've had the Peterbot fans and the Clix fans going at each other, Pete's grief and Clix, oh my gosh, Clix is better than Pete, all of that drama. And today, when Clix and Yomzo needed a third, Peterbot is the person they called, and Peterbot showed up. So how did we get here, though? So Clix, Yomzo, and Higgs were supposed to play the Trio Cash Cup today. Right before it started, though, Clix had to mute his stream and said there was a fair bit of drama going down in his trio. We didn't get him to elaborate. He didn't really say too much, but it sounded like Yomzo was mad at Higgs about something. I'm not entirely sure what. And then Higgs went to play the tournament with Clix and Yomzo, and he had a TPM or secure boot issue. Now, these are the anti-cheat measures Fortnite set up ages ago. For some reason, certain players are randomly getting hit with this right before they queue up into a tournament, even though they've been playing tournaments in the past. Now, apparently, Clix and Yomzo told Higgs he needed to fix it before this tournament. Turns out he didn't do it, and because of this, they were left without a teammate. Now, it doesn't really take that long to fix. It only takes a few minutes in the BIOS if you know what you're doing. Higgs didn't know what he was doing. He got some help, ended up fixing it, but Clix and Yomzo still didn't want to play with him. They said it was his punishment for throwing their tournament, and instead, they waited 50 minutes for Peterbot to show up. Now, Pete has not gotten on Fortnite for 6 days. Literally has not logged in for 6 days. He ended up getting called up. He's in LA. He ended up playing on his girlfriend's setup on her PC, her keyboard and mouse, a setup he's never played on before, drove to the house so he could play to then make finals. Clix, Peterbot, and Yomzo ended up coming 7th overall. They would have placed even higher, but they stopped playing with like half an hour to go in the tournament. I think an hour to go in the tournament almost, because they got on with an hour late. They dropped a 28 elim win, a 41 elim win, jumped up to top 5. Then they got a 10 elim 18th, but then a 29 elim 3rd. They'd pretty much already qualified at this point. They dropped a 16 elim 15th just to secure it. And then Clix, Pete, and Faxity went and played West. So when Clix and Yomzo needed a third to make finals last minute, we had Peterbot getting on for the first time in a week. I just never ever saw this coming. I don't think this is going to be like a long-term issue for Higgs. I don't think they hate Higgs and now this trio is going to split up and oh my gosh, they qualify for LAN. Now they all hate each other. Like there was a bit of drama, but I think it was just them being frustrated, them needing to prove to Higgs he needs to take it a little bit more seriously. Again, a lot of this is getting it from bits and pieces of the conversation on stream, hearing bits and pieces here and there. So again, I could be wrong. There could be something entirely different happening behind the scene, but it is the most logical answer for whatever happened in this situation. Now, we did get a chance to see some other new trios and how they did. We had Muzz, Rapid, and Booga, who was a trio having, again, like I said yesterday, a lot of drama. Booga and Rapid had each other blocked. Looks like they unblocked each other. They queued up the tournament, and good thing they did. They played all 10 matches, and they won on 501 points. They got over 500 points. Now, remember, skill-based matchmaking is back on for this tournament, so they played phenomenally well. They did extremely well as a new trio. Super excited to see how they do going forward. Another new trio, but not a permanent trio, is Acorn, Bolts, and Sphinx. Acorn, Ages, and Poyo came about 500th last week. Well, this week, both Acorn and Poyo both qualified to the finals with their new trios. So Poyo playing with Reed and Ritual easily qualified to finals. Acorn, Bolts, and Sphinx easily made finals. And like I said yesterday, Ages took the tournament off. So it looks like Acorn and Poyo both still in form. So I'm not really sure why that trio is struggling so much. I'm not trying to say Ages is washed or Ages is terrible. I think there definitely is some kind of a vibes issue because both Acorn and Poyo do completely fine when all of them don't play together, which is quite scary. We got the answer of who Dukes was going to play with. He ended up queuing with Bucky and Donnie, but unfortunately they came 179th overall, so they didn't make it into the finals. We had some other weird trios in there as well. Cooper ended up playing with Freeze and Veer, some of his good friends. Noah W plays and Chaos now queuing up with Diego plays. They were able to qualify as well. So we got some new interesting trios in there. We got some old trios as well. Barker, Pars, and Pump, they're still playing together. Visuals, Braids, and Aminish still playing together. G-Money, Threads, and Rise, our other new trio, also came 14th, so we get a chance to see how they do in the finals. I will talk about where everyone's dropping, how the finals looking in a second. I do want to talk about who qualified on EU as well, though. Over on EU, we had Wheat, Nefrizzi, and Ilusha continuing their domination after winning last week's finals, now popping off and winning opens. We had Pink, Nebs, and Kira coming in second, Vidil coming in third with his potential new trio, Cringe and Volko. The Poles, Seti, Hari, Kami still playing together in fourth. And then we had a new but not actual trio, just a fill trio for now, Swizzy, Malabuka, and Flixie. It's worth pointing out, Flixie, Veno, and Vico all played this week with separate teammates. We had Veno playing with Queasy and Fredoxy. They also qualified finals, but Vico just didn't play. I'm not sure what's going on there. Again, we're trying to figure out what's going on with this trio, whether there is drama, whether they are beefing, whether they're not. Not really sure what's going on, but none of them played together this week. But Flixie and Veno both played with different teammates and qualified finals. We had Mr. Savage dominating with his new trio. Chap, Savage, and Rezon still doing extremely well, coming 10th overall. The vibes were awesome. Mr. Savage's stream was popping off. Rezon was popping off. Everyone having a great time. Super excited to see this trio do well. Unfortunately, we didn't get the double back-to-back qual from Savage and Mongrel. Mongrel played with Titty and Turtle again, but he had to end his stream halfway through the tournament because they ran out of games. Unfortunately, they did very poorly. I'm now hearing rumors that Titty and Turtle have blocked each other. Again, I can't verify this. Super unfortunate if so. So Mongrel's going to maybe have to go back to square one with finding a trio, or maybe him and Turtle look for one. I'm not entirely sure. We did have, like I said, Queasy, Veno, and Fredoxy queued up. They came 17th overall. We saw Tayson, Chicho, and Panzer. Again, another, temporary trio as Tayson's quad land. He's not going to be playing with Panzer, but a good, interesting new trio to see how they do in finals. We had the Frenchies, Akira, Kurama, and Werix do really well. Vanya, Pixie, and Marius winning FNCS, still queuing up for every tournament together, not taking the season off, which I love to see. We saw Shark playing with yet again another trio. Now it's Shark, Yanis, and Mixon. They came 20th overall as well, so it's looking like a very, very stacked finals on EU and NA, but where are all the pros dropping? Looking at NA, we have some really big teams with some really good uncontested drop spots. So Clix, Yomzo, and now Peter are going to be going first order base again, looking to try to win back-to-back cash cups, with Clix and Yomzo playing without Peter targeting them like he did last week now on their team. Recipe for success there for that trio. Booga, Muzz, and Rapid are going Seaport uncontested. Reet, Ritual, and Poyo are claiming Mars Meadows and the little kind of like maze area to the south. Braids, Visuals, and Diminished, our land qualified team, getting uncontested Crime City. We also have Cooper, Veer, and Freeze who are going uncontested Flooded Frogs. Edgy, Chance, and Scare are going Brutal Boxcars again. Vert, Taki, and Issue sticking to the Vert split towards the north. Rise, G-Money, and Threats are still going the Shafts, even though the Shafts are a lot worse than what they used to be. They're also going to be taking the tennis court area to the west, which should be good for them. Oliver OG getting uncontested Outlaw with Northern and Fred. Super excited to see what OG can do uncontested. Acorn, Bolt, and Sphinx are going Outpost Enclave. And we do have some fun spawn fights to watch as well, though. We have Aviv's team gone up against Bryce X over at Foxy Floodgate. We have Jays versus Sparebo's team on the mountain. Vlex versus Jabaya over at Canyon Crossing. Then we have Seek's team versus Power over at Lone Wolf Lair. And then we have a triple con Magic Mosses. I have no idea what this is going to be. We have Crook versus Noah versus Fusiac, and then at Pump Power we have Barker versus Zune. Similar story on EU. We got the big teams getting big drops. Veno, Fredoxy, and Queasy going the first order base. Pink, Nebs, and Kiro dropping to their south on the rest of the split. Wheat, Ilusha, and Nefrizzi looking to go back-to-back finals winners with their drop at Magic Mosses. Endelex is going uncontested Pump Power. Vanya, Marius, and Pixie going their FNCS winning drop with Flooded Frogs. Kami, Seti, Hari are going Brutal Boxcars. Rezon, Chap, and Mr. Savage uncontested at Crime City. Mr. Savage might actually get to play a proper tournament uncontested in the finals. Fingers crossed. Surely they don't get surprise conned. I'm so excited to see this. We do have some big fights going down as well, though. We have Trulex, Teeny, and Skivvy go up against Mappy, Mumsy, and Rakuzan over at Foxy Floodgate. We have Ping's team going up against Cheeps for the Outlaw Oasis split. We have 3 teams dropping Outpost Enclave. Cheatin', Snazy, and Spectral's teams going at it. Darkies versus Fire End at Kappa Kappa. We have Zabby versus Piz over on the South Mountain split as well. We have Flixie, Malabuka, and Swizzy uncontested at Seaport. They could be looking to win this week potentially. Upple, Syned, and Focus are going the fields. We have Yanis, Shark, and Mixon getting uncontested Mars Meadows as well. So it's going to be a pretty exciting tournament. Panzer's up against Gordetti at Lone Wolf. Curva up against Zangy over at Whiffy Wharfs. That's the one. I mean, it's looking like a good drop across the board. I know it's not Whiffy Wharfs anymore. I've forgotten what the name of this new Star Wars POI is. But honestly, I think both these finals should be pretty good. They're looking more stacked than last week with a lot of, not actual trios. But I have a lot more confidence in these temporary trios to put on a show. We'll have to see. outside of competitive, we have some exciting announcements as well. Fortnite is officially back on the App Store. You can download on Apple iOS if you're in the United States. If you're in the EU, you can download on the Epic Game Store and the Alt Store. You can now play Fortnite Mobile again. It's going to be super exciting to see what this does for the player base. I think it will have a big surge of players again. I wonder if we're going to potentially have some kind of mobile and console tournaments yet again. We could potentially see mobile playing in the upcoming console cups. If you guys remember back in the day, the console cups right towards the end actually started to get ran by mobile, which sounds kind of crazy when you think, oh, how can mobile players compete against console? But again, this is gameplay right now of the game currently running on 120 FPS on the iPhone 16 Pro Max flawlessly, not dropping any frames, running extremely smoothly. So console gang might have to watch out. I actually love seeing mobile players absolutely shred it up and dominate, so I am a big fan of this one potentially. I know if you are playing on console, a good option, which is what a lot of players started to do towards the end of the mobile console tournaments, is just getting the best iPad you can and plugging the controller straight into it and playing on controller. You get lower input delay, you don't have to deal with shadows, better frame rate. It is honestly just all round better, which is kind of crazy. So I'm interested to see what Fortnite does for this competitively, but hopefully this increase in player base will see more console tournaments. I'm guessing Fortnite is going to want to capitalize on the hype of this. They're already sharing a bunch of videos from creators that are making videos on mobile Fortnite. They also flew out a bunch of mobile Fortnite creators to the Pro-Am, like Ducky the Gamer, to watch the Pro-Am and give them content to get their audience back into Fortnite. So they're making a big push with this mobile return. I would not be surprised to see some really solid mobile tournaments. Let's see. I'll probably honestly go live and watch them if anyone streams off mobile. I don't even know how you do that. I'm guessing with a capture card, but if it happens, I'll be covering and watching it. Lastly, just something weird that I found out today. If you've been having issues breaking cones with the pickaxe and feeling like you're just missing or you're terrible, it is a bug in the game, which I think most people knew it was a bug, but I found out today while trying to make a video on the bug that it actually has to do with the floor under the cone. So this is some footage of me on stream breaking the cone. As you can see, when the floor is underneath the cone, I can't hit the cone, but as soon as the floor breaks, I can. This is even worse when you're trying to pickaxe the cone that's above you to drop someone down. If you edit the floor into a 3 tile, you cannot hit the cone. But if there's no floor, you can. So unfortunately, it's going to be hard for you guys to do a lot to get around this bug. But if this does help you, hopefully it does. I have reported it to Epic. Hopefully something gets fixed. But if you were just trying to pickaxe cones and you thought you were terrible and you were missing or you were slow or you were far away, don't worry. It is a bug, and at least this gives a bit more information. But I'm sorry, there's no actual full fix unless Fortnite patches it.